Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey.
What up?
What's up, good people? How y'all living?
Good.
Good
Good doctor.
large and in charge. How about that?
Good doctor.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for this beautiful opportunity to serve. I'm excited. I'm super excited about it.
Oh, man. You don't even know. When I saw your name, I said, oh, okay. We about to get it tonight.
Okay. France, you are cutting like all
I'm
your
sorry,
face off.
I'm sorry.
You got to back up. Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Just got the haircut.
I see. It's all fresh.
You know, got me right. She got me right today.
Fresh. Listen, this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That is what they do. I am super excited for tonight's conversation about fatherhood. But just before we get there, happy Juneteenth.
Come on.
Happy Juneteenth. I know it was yesterday, but hey, we could still shout it out today.
We celebrated 365 days out the year.
66 this year.
Oh, it's a leap year. Gotcha.
Give us that extra day. That extra day.
Yeah.
366. Can you check your text? Oh, he can't find the link. Oh, we went through this one time before, didn't we?
We did.
Yes, can't find the link. Okay, so this is what I love too about this platform is, you know what? We just go with whatever happened and we just, make it happen. We got to do what we got to do. So let me send him the link again. He said he had it, but let me send him the link again.
It get lost on the day of.
Of course.
When you need it and you're looking for it.
When you need it, absolutely.
When you didn't need it, it's everywhere.
Okay, so I'm going to copy it and text it to him. There we go. And email him. So, I was gonna do this whole, introduction thing, but you two already know each other. Mm-hmm. So, to our audience, we are welcoming today, Dr. Derrick Standifer. I am so excited. Listen, this young man right here. You know what, friends? You remember how I used to tell you, like, you are the same no matter when, where, or what when I see you? That's this one right here, too. Oh, my goodness. Like, I have never seen him out of character. Not that he would be. I have never seen him out of character. He is always so very pleasant, so welcoming. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's beautiful. Has a wonderful testimony. Just a gem of a person. Just a gem of a person.
I received that. Thank you. I received it.
Absolutely. And is doing great things in Atlanta.
Yep.
Which I just found out is his hometown. I didn't know that before. I thought he just moved to Atlanta, but he kind of like went back home, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do that, and he is uplifting his people there. Still, I think you did a camp with FAMU last summer.
Yeah, for the past 2 summers, we've the first year we did a summer camp, and then this year we partnered with some people to host a summer camp, and we're actually running them back again this year. We're hosting a 6-week summer camp on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you in Tallahassee now?
Not now. I'm only doing the last 2 weeks of the camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you come, please come see me.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'll stop
come
by.
see
Yeah,
me.
I'll stop by.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So listen, so we're doing, I thought it would be really, really great to do a show about fatherhood. Father's Day was Sunday, just passed. Sunday just passed. Shout out to all the pawpaws, dad, pops, daddy, father, you know,
all of
all
it.
of it. It was very
Father figures,
absolutely. Godfathers, uncles, big cousins,
coaches.
kind of step in that role, mentors, all of that. It was, my pastor said something interesting on Sunday in his Father's Day message that he was like, the father part is kind of automatic. If you plant a seed and the seed grows, you are a father. But he dug into it a little deeper, saying that to be given a term of dad or daddy or pops, that is like the fellowship of it. So you can have the relationship, which is the father and the bloodline, but then you can also have the fellowship part of it. And he was saying sometimes we have one but not the other. And I was like, wow, which is so true. And I never really thought about it in that way. But how great is it when you have both? When you have both. So I thought this was like, we really need to dig in. And we've done a fatherhood show before. So we always try to honor our dads. We honored moms last month. And shout out to all the great moms, because I had the best mom ever. And I will stand on that till the day I'm gone. But yeah, shout out to those dads that are in our lives. I have, I guess, what some would call a bonus dad or stepdad or whatever. I call him daddy. And just this whole thing of men stepping into these roles that sometimes they don't necessarily have to. So it's a choice. It's a choice. So
I got a question for the fathers.
Oh, hold on. No questions yet. Friends, great day. See what I told you, Derrick? This is what we do. Yeah. So also joining us is Ruben Arana, another great dad, joining us in the kitchen tonight. He is a theater professor at one of the greatest universities in the world, #1 HBCU, the Rattler Nation.
You know that's right.
Absolutely is joining us, and special thanks to him, because I just hit him up this week like, I need somebody else. Can you come and help me out? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, yes. So thank you. And then we're also going to dig into a little bit of what you guys are doing with your lives and with your creativity and with your ministries, your life ministries, because I know both of you are working to make this a better place. So as France says, you guys are working on greater. That is France's tagline, working on greater. So we'll dig into that as well. And at this point, I will let France have the first question.
Oh Lord, look at that, a blessing. Talking about fathers being the first. You know what? I want to know. Oh, look, we got another father got on the line.
It's Dr. Scott's.
Dr. Scott, my guy.
What's going on, good people?
Oh, good. How are
Happy Father's
you?
Day,
All
bro.
right, all right.
Happy Father's Day to you all.
Thank you, thank you.
So this
Yes.
question is, I'm happy you came on, Doc, because this is right on time.
Oh, Lord. You
Here's
in
the
for it
first
tonight. He done
question
started
for all
already.
of the fathers. What did you get for Father's Day as
Mm.
your gift?
Mm.
As your gift for the hard work and the dedication and the love and the patience and the guidance that you provided for the year. What did you receive?
I received a beautiful Father's Day. Like it was like a 36-hour welcoming. Some the normal colognes and socks and everything, but I was on this mini tour vacation of Atlanta to some restaurants, to some bowling alleys, and to some. It was just an amazing experience, man. It was beautiful. I got several cards. My dad who passed away, I actually got a card on his behalf. And I greatly appreciate people honoring the man who taught me how to be a A1 quality daddy. So it was just a beautiful experience, man. This was a beautiful.
Okay, that's good. That was
That's
unique. That's
nice.
different. That's different. Mr. Ruben, what did you get? What did you receive?
Yeah, I actually received a great gift of quality time with all of my children.
Oh.
We were able to go out to a movie. I can't remember which one we saw, but we saw a movie together. And so I have four kids, and sometimes it's hard to coordinate doing stuff all together. So we were able to do that, and then they blessed me with a little bit of change. they all chipped in. I was like, "Here you go, Dad." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I like it."
Paying it back. Paying it back.
So yeah, so I got some spending money. So all right.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
love
Dr.
that.
Scott.
You want to know what I got? Close your eyes. What you see?
Oh, Marvin.
The beginning. Something amazing.
Actually, I was out of town for Father's Day.
Ah, okay.
I was actually
Okay. Well, I only said that and I asked that question because does it really match up to what you did for Mother's Day?
Here we go.
Here
we go.
Well, let me say this.
Is that how we're gonna do it? Like we're gonna start with the battle of the sexes?
No, that's what this show is about. We got
this is what I live with this one.
No, let me say this though. I will say this. I raised my boys to make sure that they take care of mom.
Yep.
I raised my boys to make sure. I've told them this. You might get away with saying something slick to me, but if you say something slick to your mom, it's going to be consequences and repercussions.
Absolutely.
So I expect them to do more. I expect them because that's the way I raised them. Me honestly, I'm a giver, and it's a lot of times it's hard for me to receive. So I don't really look for anything. I don't really expect anything. I mean, if you do it, that's great. If you don't, I'm cool. For me, what a good day for me is when you give me time by myself. So so just giving me my me time, that in itself is a great day for me. So I don't look at it, and I try not to compare what they do for me versus what they do for her, because if they didn't do for her, I would have a problem.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the reasons I brought it up, is because my dad did the same thing, right? Take care of mom, make sure mom is good. And for me, as long as we're together, just like Mr. Ruben said earlier, that is the gift. Oh, yeah, we had a good time together. We, I think it's even special when he gets a little change. I think he's happy about that too. To this day, we could just throw him a little change and send him to the crab place. I want to go to the crab place. So it's interesting that as men we do that, right? We sit back and say, okay, no, take care of that person first, take care of mom first, take care of wife first, take care of, take care of that business, and I'll be okay with whatever you give me. Because it's always interesting. The father gets the socks, the cologne, a tie, a car, and it's like, okay, I appreciate it, and it keeps on going on and just doing what he needs to do to ensure that the family moves forward.
Well, can I ask this question? Oftentimes we say that, but how many times have we really expressed as men what we like and what we would expect to see?
Good question. Good question.
A lot of times,
Derrick, since you're the youngest, what's your response?
I think a lot of times we just kind of expect that people should know what we want. You know what? We should just know. But Dr. Scott hit a great point. We gotta vocalize what it is that we want. You know, closed mouth never get fed. Yep. You gotta put it into tell people this is what I desire for Father's Day. I don't want socks or tools or colognes or sometimes a gift that's really a gift for you. You know how sometimes
Well, you bought me a weed whacker this year. Oh, thanks for the lawnmower. I appreciate it.
You do have to express that.
Yeah.
You absolutely do.
Great point.
And then also when you talk about, since France brought it up, when you talk about how much we do for mom and how little we may do for dad.
I did not say that.
No.
Go ahead.
I didn't say that you said it.
Okay.
I said in the comparison of things.
Right.
We also have to keep in mind that a lot of times the children spend more time with mom. So they know what mom likes. They know some of the things that would make her happy. I'm not saying fix your face, Marvin.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with him too.
I'm trying.
Oh, y'all kidding me. I didn't say all the time. I didn't say every mama. I'm just saying sometimes the person that you spend the most time with is the person that you tend to know more about. And so gift buying or gift giving is just a tad bit easier.
I actually agree with that concept. For me, one familiarity breeds content. So a lot of times, I got a friend. He says that because he didn't live with his dad, the advice that his dad gave him stuck more with him, and mom's advice was just kind of like normalized because he was always with his mother. I agree, and in my case, I'm a full-time single daddy of two beautifully, so my kids they're with me. But I actually agree. I don't get the same type of recognition or the same type of support that women get. Just by it's different for me. People view a man with his kids as a unicorn, and they view women with their kids as kind of like the norm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we have to look at too. Is oftentimes it's brought out in the spotlight in the sense of the fathers not being there.
Sure.
And we never talk about and focus on or deal with the situations when the fathers are actually there. We act like black men are just not there for their children. When you have a lot of black men who are fathers and they're not just that entitled, but they are actually fathering. They're actually raising the children. And so
absolutely, that is a terrible narrative that America is trying to show.
And that's why I love good
black
times.
fathers are absent, and they try to do it through everything, which is one of the things that I loved about when I heard about Good Times and what's her name? She would not do the show without a father in the house.
That's what I just said. I love that about Good Times.
A father in the house, because that is, people believe what they see on TV, and they think that is the thing, that is the norm, that is how it goes. But
which is funny because
you pull statistics, and you talk about government assistance and all of that thing, Black people are not the highest number of people getting government assistance. So, but you have these narratives and the way that the media pushes to make it seem like, it's all us and we the ones out here running around, without any dads, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing is because that show was just one of so many shows where the father was present, right? Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
yeah, the Winslows,
the Wiz,
Family Matters,
Family Matters, even
Everybody Hates Chris is another one.
Everybody Hates
oh
Chris.
yeah.
I mean, we could keep going down the line.
But even before that one was Julia, but that one was a single mom.
Julia
with Diane Carroll.
I don't remember that one. I remember 227.
It's very
old.
227, baby.
I know the show you're talking about, Lisa. You went back with that.
Yeah. I mean, I never really watched it because I'm not that old, but I remember the show.
Even Different Strokes. Although, you know, it was an adopted family into
let's move on. Let's move on.
It was a father figure. It's a father figure.
Let's move on.
At the end of the day, the society is showing us that fathers are really not there. But really, if you go back, fathers are definitely present. You know, so it's interesting how they try to show that no, he's not there, or even if he is there, he's a deadbeat dad. But no. It's really the dad's holding up the foundation to keep this train, you know, moving. So
I would say this, right? One of the things, like coming from a male point of view, even growing up looking at young ladies, when there's not a father in the house, we would talk to those young ladies different than when there's a father in the house. The young ladies get respect more when there's a father in the house. You know, especially when you have a single mother and she's trying to be the child's friend versus being a mother. And I know sometimes that's difficult in that situation. But at the same time, we know young men go astray a lot more when there's not a father in the house. So the thing is, whatever the reason was, or in whatever they're trying to portray, I think it is incumbent upon us to make sure that we start to solidifying the Black family and solidifying the fact that the father is needed in the home. And it goes back to little things, even as marriage, because you're dealing with a generation now that looks like marriage as a transactional or a contract or agreement, and it's only if I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So even those things, just, you know, there's a lot that we have to fight against, because we need the whole family, not just the mother, not just the father, but we need a whole family to raise our children.
So interesting that I want to ask, one of my questions was, can you be friends with your children?
That's an excellent question. And if we start with a definition of what it means to be a friend, you know, and then trying to figure out whether or not that's applicable to the children that we're dealing with, because if we're talking about somebody who is an equal peer, then there's no chance that you're going to be a friend with your children, right? If you're talking about somebody who's not going to necessarily hold you accountable, right? That person, you know, as a parent, you're going to do the same quote unquote dirt that your child is going to do, or you're going to allow your child to not be held to accountability to a certain type of standard, and that's what your friends are going to do. Then, or that's what we mean by being a friend. Then that's not going to work, because the child is going to need that set of boundaries, and somebody is going. Oh my God! Somebody's going to have to enforce those boundaries. You're going to have enforcement of the boundaries, and when you're dealing with a friend, oftentimes what we're dealing with is in terms of a loose understanding, or maybe not so loose, that the friend is somebody that doesn't enforce boundaries. A friend is not going to be the kind of that is going to be about enforcing, certain types of, especially moral type of boundaries. You might have a friend who's going to be there for you and help you out. So if we're talking about friendship on that level, where hey, dad, buddy, my friend, can you come and get me from this party? I'm stranded here. Well, if you want to consider that a friend move, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, it supersedes that, because that's also a loving dad move.
Correct.
You don't want you don't want your child stranded in a place where that you can go pick them up and you don't do it, right? So that's a dad move in a sense. So if we take aspects of what friendship is, and and apply that to our relationship with our children, then there's some aspects will be yes, and some aspects will be, can we this YouTube, heck no. So that's my take.
You good.
My kids don't like my rules enough to be my friend. They hate my rules too much to be my friend.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I think that's how it starts off, because we understand and we build those boundaries early. Because I have a very good friendship with my father, right? Called me early in the morning. Just this morning, like, okay, that's my guy. But growing up, it was a little bit different, right? So this is what the expectations are. You need to lead up to these expectations. My grandfather, talking about fathers, he shared this message with my father. The best time to correct a tree is when it's young. Right? Because then you can bend it, you can get it to where you want it to be. If you don't manage it early, then later in life, that tree is going to be all the way left, right. You don't know how it's going to grow. But if you get it right from the beginning, then it just takes off. So I think that's part of that friendship piece, that once it takes off, once I have that steady, I can stand on my own, I'm in my own lane, I can do my thing. Yes, now I can enjoy this friendship, this relationship, and watch you go beyond what I could even thought of. So I do think there's a friendship, but there's a time frame to me on how that friendship looks and how it develops over time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything that everybody's saying, because for me, I think as a father, I could be friendly, and I could be supportive, but in order for that relationship that we have to grow, it has to grow and mature into a friendship where when they're an adult, and at some point, even then, I'm always dad, but now it's not my way or the highway. It's not my rules. But I pray that I've talked with them and I've instilled enough in them. I can remember having a conversation with one of my sons, and he was like, "Dad, you ain't got to tell me that. I know. You've taught me enough. You put enough in me. I know how far to go." Now again, do they do everything the way that I would want them to do it or whatever? No, but he reassured me that there's a level in which I know how far to go because you put that in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I would tell them when they got older, once they hit high school, about being a junior in high school, I said, okay, now you're maturing into a man. And I said, now I don't want you to turn 18 and I just drop you off saying, okay, you grown now, be a man. So now here it is, we're in the pre-manhood stage, so to say. And I would talk to them. I say, one of the first things about being a man in this household is communication. If you have a problem, if you have an issue, I need you to communicate with me, talk with me, be a man, talk with me. And in everything that they do, even with them playing football, okay, you got a problem, what's going on with the coach? Go talk to the coach. Now, again, I'm not going to talk to the coach for you. You got to go talk to the coach. Now, if he doesn't give you a response, say again.
Okay. No, you're good.
Yeah. If they don't give you a response that that's appropriate, you know what I mean, or kind of blow you off, now daddy coming. Okay, now I'm going to come in as daddy, and now we're going to have the conversations that need to be had, because at the end of the day, you're still my son. You know,
Right.
so that's one of the things. So building that level of communication where we can communicate. But that goes back to what you said earlier about spending time. You know, spending time. Like my youngest son, when going on the trips for football visits or whatever, we would spend a lot of time together. So there was a time where we drove 2,000 miles. You know what I mean? And going one way, and they had them saying 2,000 miles coming back. You know what I mean? But again, so being able to have those conversations, those talks, builds that relationship so that when they do get older, when they become grown men standing on their own or whatever, I think then it can begin to, I'm still father, I'm still dad, but we're on a different place now. We can start to be friends.
Yeah. So I would say too that I consider kind of like what Rana was saying about the different aspects. So I consider my mom and my daddy kind of my friends in some respects, but not like equal my peers.
Right.
But I could come to them, I could talk to them about anything,
Yes.
how my day was, or what my crazy friend did, or this, that, or the other. Or if I heard something my friends was talking about, I could come to them and be like, y'all know such and such and so and so. Well, what does that mean? Whatever. And so in that aspect, but I also knew where the boundaries were.
Right.
Right. So I knew that they were the parents. But at the same time, in some little, hangout or just having a good time or getting pizza or whatever, it wasn't like rigid, this is my mama, or whatever. It
Right.
was just a good time. And I didn't have to worry about too much of anything in that respect. So I think that again, piggybacking on what Ruben was saying about just different levels and types of friendships, maybe, because I do as an adult have friends that will call me out on my stuff. And that's the kind of friend that you need, not just a friend that's gonna be like, oh girl, yeah, da da da. No, you was wrong.
Yeah.
Let's get that together. And I still got your back, or whatever. So in that aspect, I really felt like my mom was that friend. Like if I was gonna tell something to anybody, it was gonna be her.
Yeah.
And if I didn't tell it to her, I wasn't telling it to nobody.
Right.
So I think on that. But what I want to segue into now is, how do you build or nurture that type of relationship where your child feels comfortable enough to come to you, even if they in trouble?
I think it's important to know that you got your kids back. Kind of like what Dr. Scott said about the football coach, giving them some range to go out there and kind of fend for yourself, but also know if you don't get a favorable outcome, not even a favorable outcome, if you get a rude or disrespectful outcome, then I got your back and I'm coming to aid you. But knowing that you got your back. Kobe Bryant said this thing in the interview. He said that his dad told him that I'm gonna love you if you score 60 points or if you score 0 points. And I think giving our kid that range, that if you put in effort, if you fail, I'm gonna love you and I'm not gonna chastise effort. But and it's not gonna be attached to if you win or not. It's attached to the effort. Just try. And I'm gonna always have your back and I'm gonna always love you. And I feel like if our kids have that kind of freedom to try things and fail at things, the freedom to fail, they know that, we can come talk to you about something because you didn't reprimand me when I failed. You made me feel loved still in my failures.
Yeah. I would say, again, goes back to, communicating and talking with them. And one of the things I learned a lot of times, because of how we talk to our kids, think we're perfect. And so if they see a flaw after they thought you were perfect, they're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And so it's hard to talk to someone who you think never make mistakes and they're calling out your mistakes, right? So for me, one of the things is, when I'm talking to the boys and it's just me and them, I'm being real. Sometimes they might feel like I'm being too real or too raw, but I'm being real because I want them to know, hey, look, Hey, look, this is me. I have issues. I'm not perfect. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I want you to be able to understand if you have issues. Now, again, I have 2 kids and they're night and day. You would think they were raised in the same different homes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So no matter what I say to one, he's still not as open, but that's his personality. The other one, he's more open because that's his personality. So also understanding that hey, look, you can talk to me, and also letting them know some stuff you do, I am gonna fuss at you.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Don't hold back because you think I'm gonna fuss. I'm still gonna help you, but some stuff you do, yes, it's gonna make me upset. And I'm not gonna act like I'm not upset because you want to feel better about some dumb stuff you did.
Mhm.
So hey, look, understand, I still love you though. Even when I'm fussing,
Mhm.
I still love you. And I'm gonna have your back regardless. And so that's my thing, because I don't want them ever thinking that they can come to me, but I can't express how I feel.
Mm.
I
Mm.
think it's setting up, and both of you kind of said what I was thinking is setting up a fertile ground, setting up the environment, the situation for me to want to come and say, hey, you know what, this happened. And Dr. Scott, you made a good point, whether it's bad or good, right? So I want to be able to still say, you know what, I know this is going to sound bad, but I got to tell you, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I may get fussed out, but guess what? This is what happened. Knowing that early on, that foundation, that soil, that relationship was cultivated for the child to be able to do that, I think has to be done. Again, going back to the quote from my grandfather, it has to be done early, right? So that no matter what time or age, they know, yeah, I did it when I was 5, 2, 10, 15, 20, 25 and up. I know I can go to dad and share, because we had that type of relationship. We cultivated that type of relationship.
Yeah. Arana, you was gonna say something? Did we lose him?
I think he on mute.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
So no, it's absolutely what was being said is that cultivation. It's your kids will come to you when they test out what happens when they come to you.
Mm.
So there's gonna be a first time that there's an issue and they need to talk about it, they need to express it and all of that. And they're going to come to you and see, how do you handle my issue? How do you handle my shame, my mistake? How do you treat that? And so if you are able to lovingly correct them,
Mm.
they will understand, oh, okay, this is the kind of parent that I have, and I now can continue to come to them with other issues, with other concerns and all of that kind of stuff, and know that even when I'm in error, when I made a
Uh-oh.
I do want to add value to what he was
uh-oh.
sharing. What
there you
Testing. Hello?
Yeah,
Yep,
we can
I
hear
got
you.
you
Go ahead.
We can hear you now, yes.
Electronic?
Oh, did we lose him?
No, he's still there. Breaker one down. Come in, good buddy.
Ah,
I don't
know
know if you
what?
heard. Yeah. So yeah. So it's a type of relationship that is experienced through experience, through
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
examples, through certain kind of situations. And let me add this, because there might be somebody going through this, and I have a slight pushback to that effort comment, because and just a slight, and nothing against anybody, but it's the idea of, if I don't perform, if I don't have, if my effort is not great, am I still going to be loved?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I don't
that's what
think.
sorry, Dr. Scott, because this is what I thought of, because
Your
I was
son.
still thinking of TV dads. And I thought of the situation,
Yeah.
which has gone viral now, with Heathcliff and Theo. And they're in the room. And Theo, he bought in like C's and D's on his report card. And to Theo, he's like, well, Dad, I gave my best effort. You know, I did it. And his father said, no, you could do better than this. He corrected him lovingly, right? And he showed him some examples of, hey, this is what it's going to be. You don't just be mediocre. Give me your best. Push yourself a little bit more. And at the end, he said, I am your father. I'm watching in this world. I can take you out. So it's like, I'm loving you, but I'm still pushing you because I know that you can do more than what you're capable or telling me that you can do. So keep giving it, keep pushing it. Don't just go for average is what he was trying to share. Look at his background. I love it.
And I don't think he was talking from the standpoint of, if you don't give the effort, I'm not going to love you. I think it was more on the lines of dealing with the fact of when you're playing a sport or participating in an activity, if I'm not fussing on how well you do. If you're going to get a critique from me, it's going to be a critique on your level of effort.
Right.
I've always told my boys, if you're gonna play, do your best.
Mm.
If it's a team sport, you owe it not just to yourself, but you owe it to your team to be the best person and best player, best teammate that you could be. You know, that's always been the thing. So it's not about saying if you don't give effort, then I'm gonna have a problem with you in the sense of I don't love you. It's more so I'm not happy with the effort. Listen, I tell people all the time, if you ask me the two proudest moments that I've had where I shed a tear was when my boys were born. When I saw their heads crowned, every time I cried. So them not performing well on a test, them not performing well in a class, them not performing well on the football field, that's not going to change my love for them.
Correct.
I love them. I mean, you know what I mean? From day one, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's part of my job to steer them in a place of, in life, always give your best.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And that's what I thought of when I thought of that Cosby Show piece.
And you gotta, and it's up to you to know what your kid's best is, because you can't listen to a kid say, I gave him my best, but when you look at their phone, you see that they've been on social media 8 hours a day. You ain't giving your best. There's an illusion. There's an illusion going on. So as a father, you gotta kind of know, no, let's redirect what you think your best is.
Yeah,
that's good.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, redirect where you, because as the father, you should. If you're paying attention, that's another thing. If you're paying attention, you're going to see where your child is strengthened and where he feels weakened or she feels weakened, and you can redirect. You know what? I see that you're not putting a lot of effort in this. What's going on with that? Okay, you know what? You don't like this, so let's redirect. I love that what you said, Doc. Like let's redirect where your focus is, where your energy is, to get you to a place where you can feel passionate about what it is that you're doing or engaging in.
JT Plummer.
Yo, wait. Hey, how y'all doing, man? Y'all all right?
All
We
right.
all right. How are you?
I'm good. You know what I'm doing out here on this road, beating this pavement.
I see you. I'm like, oh
Hey.
my goodness.
It's good to see everybody, though. I know I've been going away for a little minute, but I try to make it when I can.
I know.
You know, try to get in here when I can or whatnot. But we out here trying to get to these millions. So,
hey, he's smoking in the band. He got a long way to go in a short time.
Short time to get there.
He's bound. Watch your bandit run.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord.
So, which is easier, girls or boys?
Boys.
So Marvin, you can't answer that because you don't have no girls.
It depends on what your
goddaughters
is easier to do.
You have goddaughters?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've coached little league team when it was intramural. I mean, co-ed. Girls are different. Girls are different. I have a cousin. My cousin Rod. I tell him this all the time. He is to me. This is just me. He has 3 daughters, and I'm like, man, you are the perfect girl dad. He is a girl dad. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I would probably spoil them. That's me. I mean, yeah, I'll probably little girls. I spoil them all the time. They get whatever they want from me.
Yeah,
little boys,
suck it up. Yeah, I get you on that. And yeah, it depends on what it is that we're talking about. That's easy or difficult. So there are some parts that are easy in terms of my daughters. It's my daughters are much more independent, I guess you could say, and they'll go out and do stuff. And my sons are they're not codependent. They're just they're able to just go ahead and do what they need to do. So they're both on that level. It's just that the daughters will communicate more about it. So I'll know what my daughters are up to before, and I'll have to ask what my sons are up to.
They did a study. They said that if a pile of leaves is on the ground, girls would investigate what's in the leaves before they dive into it. They'll make sure that the leaves are safe. Boys would just jump head first into the pile of leaves, not knowing the danger. So that's my experience with my daughter and my son. My daughter is if she's in class, my daughter is probably taking copious notes and paying attention to what the teacher got going on. And my son probably in class asking what page 15 on. They just it's two different. And I like to say that, I like to compare it to, women have these XX chromosomes and men have XY chromosomes. I think that little leg is missing a lot. It's missing a lot of core, and when it comes to our young boys, especially, when I see the difference between my daughter and my son.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Doc. No, go ahead, Doc.
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say, just like raising my boys and then seeing some of my friends raise their daughters. I think one of the difference between raising boys and girls is with boys, you just tell them what to do, and they do it. You discipline them. With girls, there's a level of conversation that you got to have. They're asking why. I don't know. I just like to say with my friends, and then I look at my boys. Boy, go sit down. And okay, he goes sit down. And the daughter that I've seen, they be like, but why? You're not sitting down. Why do I have to sit down? Can we talk about this? That's what I've seen. So there's a difference.
Because women don't like to listen, but that's another story.
Might be a generational difference too, because when I was told to go sit down, I went and sat down. I ain't asked no questions. So that's
new age
generation that we have, somehow transferred allowing them to participate in that way.
The
we
gentle
didn't
parenting.
participate in that way. So I told you to do something, you went and did it. And if you
the first time.
Yeah. So that might be something new. That is a little new, not for me.
Okay,
so
that's
I
that
told
new.
you I went and did it. But I want to see. We're great listeners, JT, and
I know she heard it.
Unlike some of you.
I wanted to come at it from a different perspective because for guys, and this is how I thought, it's like, you just put on a t-shirt and some shorts with the boys, go run outside. You good. Yeah. With the girls, you got to do the hair, you got the, the bra, it's just more work. It's just more work for the ladies. The guys, you just come on, go ahead. Go. My parents just said, put on some underwear and some shorts, and you good.
But hey, no. Hey, France, you with a boy, you got to say, hey, put on some clean drawers, some clean underwear.
I mean, that's so 100. That's so 100 because
it's easier for the boy. Just go, you go.
Yeah, so right. The clothes, I put them right back with the clean clothes, like, bro.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. So yeah, in terms of those kind of things, it's easier for the boys because those exact words have been said in the house. Put on clean underwear.
Clean
underwear. And then we're waiting a little extra time because my daughter is doing makeup. But here, okay, can we take it to this part though? Is there a cultural or societal aspect that's causing or brings about that a beauty standard for the girls, right? So because you are dealing with what you are, how you present yourself in the social atmosphere when you walk outside the door, and there is a higher premium for aesthetics on girls. I don't see anything a way around that. There is a higher aesthetic premium for girls to look a certain type of way, and girls internalize that through what we're encultured in, and so that spending a little bit more time. I don't, is it necessarily that it's that individual girl thing, or is it what is the expectation of a culture, of a society on the girls and or on the boys? Because the boys will have different kind of cultural pressures as well, but they're not going to necessarily be aesthetic.
Correct.
I do think it's aesthetic for the guys, but it's not till later on, and it's based on the ladies, right? So I share this. I said, when the ladies show up and they say, well, this is the standard, the boys step up.
Yeah.
Right. So if the ladies say, no, you what's the song? Y'all remember it? I don't want no scrub.
No, I don't
No
want
scrub.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute.
You got to
Wait a minute.
up.
It was. Wait a minute. I'm the voice of reason. And there was a song that followed up that said, I don't want no pigeons. So we they got to do something as well.
And then
the guys catch up. They catch up to a certain degree. Like, okay, I'm gonna wear my shirt. I got to get my hair cut. My nails got to be clean because that's what
Brand.
Uh-oh.
Nieces and nephews. I don't know what's going on with this generation, but listen, kids, the girls these days, I literally have heard that if you have waves, if you got a fresh cut, you are swagless. I have heard that kind of stuff. I don't know what's going on. If you notice that the majority of the kids now, they walk around with their hair nappy because that's what the girls like. I don't understand it, but that's what it is. I mean, I know that's not our generation, but that's just what's going on right now.
But even to speak to what Arana was just saying, even if there is a cultural or a society standard, the little girl didn't come out the womb with it. She had to learn it.
Right.
So now when we talk about, her taking a little extra time, she got that from mama or daddy saying,
or nowadays,
I can't send my 1-year-old outside, my 1-year-old girl with a nappy head or with a this or with a that. So by the time she does get 5, 6, 7, 8, she has learned that from most times home. Because of society's standard and our care or love and not wanting our child to be bullied or picked on or whatever. So it is. girls, I think girls could be a little, have a little more challenge
Yeah,
than raising boys
I would agree with you,
in that
Lisa.
respect.
I would agree with you, Lisa, 100% when it comes to, in the sense of saying, getting out a lot of that from parents. But nowadays, we give our kids the great babysitter at 1 year old.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
YouTube,
Yep.
videos. And
Yeah.
so they're not just getting it from mom and daddy anymore.
Sure.
They're getting it from, I can remember when my boys got a certain age, I'd be like, okay, where you get that from? I know what age when you got certain things, because you're not getting that from the house. So you're getting it now from your classmates,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So now they're getting a lot of things from social media. And they're getting it early. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So there's a saying, they say, don't tell your kids what to think, teach them how to think. Right. But that's almost impossible, because oftentimes they learn what initial things they like and dislike based off of what they see, what they view, what their experiences are. You know what I mean? And so most times the experiences, what they see, what they experience comes out of the home. But now they're seeing a lot of different things from different areas, from dealing with social media, YouTube videos, or whatever, that now that's helping to shape how they think.
Sure.
And so when you start talking about aesthetics, when you start talking about a lot of those different things, they're not just getting that from home anymore. They're getting that from social media influencers. You know what I mean? So it's so much stuff coming at our children.
Absolutely.
The young boys and the young girls.
Absolutely. And nobody really there, or not, I want to say nobody there, but they do get so much stuff and no breakdown or talking about it.
Correct.
No, and part of it is, like you said, the great babysitter now. So here, play these games and be quiet. Sit in church and play these games and be quiet. So they never learn. They don't learn how to sit with their own thoughts, how to use their imagination, how to sit in certain places. So we knew there were certain places that you went and you sat and you was
Sat
quiet.
down. Yeah.
But they don't get to learn that because we have these devices, and we think that's so much better than how we felt when we was just told sit there and be quiet, or you got the eye from your mama in the choir stand.
I also think, Lisa, is what is being shared, right? So growing up,
but if your child has a device and you're not watching them, you don't know what
they can see anything.
Yeah, I agree.
And you
and so then you don't even know what to talk to them about, because you don't know what they're seeing.
And the crazy thing is, right? I think they say TikTok is created or started in, what is it, Japan or China, right? One of them.
China.
Right?
It's a Chinese company.
It's a Chinese, right? But what they have on TikTok in China and what they have on here in America on TikTok,
it's
two different things.
Probably totally different. Two different things.
Everything on TikTok in China is educational.
Right.
They are not allowed to show the videos in China that they allow to show in America.
Right.
Those are some of the things that we're saying that we as parents have to fight against. As a parent of boys, now you gotta fight against your child wanting to go out and be amongst the cool guys.
Yeah.
And what do they consider cool?
Correct.
You know what I mean? And for us growing up, the cool guys were the guys who were getting the girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now the cool guys could be anybody. The guys who got money, the guys who look like they're, the drugs or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just saying,
right.
wanting to be a part of whatever that crowd is. You know what I'm saying? And doing whatever it takes to be a part of that crowd. And again, a lot of that comes from, the media, what they're seeing, what they're hearing, So again, as parents, it becomes difficult because your kids are quick to tell you that you don't understand.
Yeah. I think about something, Dr. Scott, everybody else. I think about this right here. There was a show back, I guess it was like, and I know I wasn't even born yet, but a few of y'all, maybe Dr. Scott, because he seemed to be older than everybody. But there was this show called Father Knows Best.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've seen reruns on TV Land and all of that kind of stuff. The thing about it is that does the father really know best with all of these? I mean, we know that what we could teach our kids, our nieces and nephews and everything else. But when there are so many influencers out here on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and do you really think that children really feel like they could listen to us, even though we would be the people that are grooming them and leading them? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do understand what you're saying.
We are being pro. Go ahead.
Okay, that's an excellent question, and part of when we're talking about TV shows like that, what has been happening since those kind of TV shows is a deterioration of how the man or how the father is portrayed in the household. There is less of a portrayal of the father figure being the wise one, and so there is a intentional and systematic way to deteriorate the intelligence and the influence and the wisdom of the father in the home. That idea gets then I guess infiltrates and starts to allow the children to challenge, right? Challenge more of the father's wisdom. If the father then tries to exert wisdom that they haven't earned, they're going to now start to perpetuate that idea of the father doesn't really know what they're talking about, and you'll get that multiplied, because what social media does, Jesus, okay, what social media, let me calm down. What social media will do is create an echo chamber, right?
Yes.
It creates echo chambers where one voice, one example of something that's happening it really is happening, but it gets multiplied and makes it louder and makes it seem like it's happening all the time. And so people will start to buy into something that they're hearing, even though it's not something that's actually happening to the level that they're talking about. And so yes, and because social media and TV and the agenda has the time frame, it has 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 70 years, because that, we're talking about like 1950s, it has 70 years to start to deteriorate some of the ideas of what manhood should be about. And you start to accept that, generations start to accept, hey, I don't want to be like how my dad was, because oh my God. Okay, so even though you have the hypocrisy, we're talking about the hypocrisy that comes with it, because you'll have a father who knows best, right? But is beating up on their wife. A father who knows best, but down on the other side of the road, it's family number two. Family. So you're growing up in seeing those kinds of things, right? But it's coming against the idea that this 1950s fatherhood is what knows best, and so your reality is coming into conflict with what the art is saying, and you start to shift things. You start to shift things, and now you have somebody just said earlier, a generation of children who are going to challenge to your face now, right? Now they're going to challenge to your face because they saw the hypocrisy earlier on. They saw the how people weren't doing what they portrayed to be doing. And so I'm just saying I'm putting out a bunch of stuff out there. What's our time frame?
we go into we go into Lisa say, but I want to just say this because he was saying the hypocrisy, right? One of the things that I realize is our kids oftentimes wants sympathy from their parents or empathy from their parents, but they don't have any sympathy or empathy for their parents. And it's okay for this other person who's a YouTuber, or, TikTok or whatever, to have flaws, but it's not okay for the parents to have flaws.
Set on a different level.
So those are some of the things that we have to look at. And the other thing we have to look at is we live in a day and time where that word truth is really being challenged now. Because now we have to look at truth in the entirety of the definition. Truth is defined as something that is accepted as true. Doesn't have to be necessarily factually true. You know what I mean? So
and everybody have their own truth.
Right. And so we're living in a day and time where now, because you have a lot of people that's saying it, if it's popular, then it's true. And so we have this thing. Me and my wife, we talk about this all the time, about how we say, okay, this generation is a smarter generation. And I said, why are we giving them so much credit? Just because they have more information available doesn't mean they're smarter. You know what I mean? Are they really more mature? Do they know how to chew up the meat and spit out the bones?
Can they continue to create?
They're getting a lot of information, but a lot of this information is not good information. It's misinformation or disinformation. And they have it and they're running with it. But we're saying they're smarter because they have access to having access to information doesn't necessarily mean you're smarter. It's what you do with the information.
Correct.
That makes you smarter.
Yeah.
And I want to go back because Dr. Akbar shared this with me. Naeem Akbar, got to throw him out. He said this, that, when television first came out, they said, welcome to your
programming. Yeah.
Your nightly program. They were programming and still are programming us each time you watch it. The problem is that over time, that program, as both that's just about everybody has mentioned, it has deteriorated over time, right? So in the past, we could watch a show and they'll I'm okay with you watching the Cosby Show because yes, they're going to give you some truth, they're going to give you some inspiration or something to look up to, but now you watching the Kardashians.
Oh man, it's worse than that.
I think that's the piece in terms of what are we allowing our kids to be programmed with, because they will be programmed. The Girl Scouts did a research study on how the Kardashians affect the girls in the Girl Scouts group. So they had one group that didn't watch the show, another group that watched the show. The girls who watched the show started doing some of the same things that they saw on the show, backstabbing, talking about each other, being mean, all of the stuff that you were in the show, they were doing it. So where did they get it from?
They got it from the show. Correct. But they also got it from nobody sitting and talking with them and saying,
correct,
this ain't real, y'all.
Same real life.
We had the same, but our programming was a little bit different. So yeah, I could watch G.I. Joe and still be like, okay, I know this is not real.
Right.
And I know that there's a message behind it. And even if my parents didn't say anything, I still learned something.
Yeah, because at the
it's all over the time.
Well, Doc, he's sitting there like he's jumping at the bit. Man, you got to go ahead and jump in there. Yeah. You just got to jump in there, man.
Because I'm anti screen time. I feel like these smartphones aren't being used to make our kids smart, and we give them to them, and they just become zombies. And TD Jakes, he gave this sermon.
Pretty much.
he gave this sermon about how our cell phones never tell our kids no. Whenever they want to get something, they always hear the answer yes. So when they got to hear authority, when they got to hear no is like the end of the world for them because they don't even understand how to process no. And another caveat to that is these kids got to get used to being bored. Like boredom is the foundation to create.
Creativity,
Bro, listen, that was oh my God. That is listen, that is crazy that you say that because I remember back in the day being an 80s baby growing up. Being bored might have got your finger or your arm broke, but you had fun and you found things to do and you found ways to be creative. Later on somebody go ahead.
I remember not having a football. We made a football. Not having a basketball goal. We made a basketball goal. Like kids, kind of like that's their stopping point now because they don't have the ingenuity to create things when things aren't there. Now,
it's not just kids too. I shared this with a group of students about Tallahassee. I said, Tallahassee is a beautiful city. Well, there's not a lot of things to do. I said, well, you could create things to do. Go on a bike ride. Go to the park. Be creative. Don't wait for somebody to say, oh, we got a party. You could come to it. So again, that's that sense of somebody has to do it for me.
Yeah.
For me to enjoy.
It's part of the brain that is not developing properly because they have not had to exercise remembering numbers or remembering this, or they have not had to exercise being bored or having to sit quietly and let their brain actually use their imagination. So and critical thinking skills. They haven't had to try to sneak and see something because it's all right here in their hand. Critical thinking skills come from you have to figure out how not to get in trouble to do something sometimes. I'm just saying.
Listen,
I remember that.
I was never sneaky. I never snuck to do anything.
Man, listen. Listen, I remember having to sneak to watch that Rump Shaker video Rex and Effect came out with back in the day. And I remember having to sneak and watch that Dina Howard video that came out back in the day because my grandma wouldn't have it.
All right.
Say what?
We just talked about programming.
Listen.
But listen, it was programming, but we had to sneak to see it.
You know what? This is such a great topic, great show, talking about fatherhood, talking about parenting. But we are over our time. One thing I do love about our platform and being the executive producer is it's okay. So I do want to ask, I really had two more questions. But I'm going to ask one more question that I would like the fathers to answer. And that is, what is the most rewarding about being a father?
Great closer.
I think most rewarding is I have friends who are now fathers. And they understand the difference between fathers and daddies. You mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Father planted seeds, so daddy raised those seeds to be fruit-producing trees. And I think my friends are like, I thought all I could do is just pay the bills and take care of my kids, and that's good enough to be a dad. And then they see me working with my kids and teaching my kids and tutoring them and making sure I'm, actively spending time. And my daughter, she's 10 years old. She goes out to open mics. She performs her poems and sells her own I Am African wristbands. And my son does the same thing. So I think the most rewarding thing is to see them actively learning, actively applying the knowledge, because we think that knowledge is power, but when you learn how to manipulate the knowledge and apply it to your life, is the beauty. And raising my kids, and also seeing that magnify to my other friends who got kids and how they start to implement knowledge and wisdom onto their children.
I'll say quickly that it's seeing them grow into adults, and that's the most rewarding part is when they can go out of the nest or while they're still home, but they're growing and maturing and interacting. When they start to interact with others and how they interact with others, that's a reflection on their upbringing and their parenting. Let's sprinkle a little bit of Bible in there. because I remember how David, when he came and spoke to, this might have been like when he was about to kill Goliath or whatever, but one of the things that somebody said was, whose son is this? You know, and so the idea of how your children interact with the world, because they start insulated at home, everything's at home first, but once they start to go out is when the character of what was taught at home starts to shine, or starts to be revealed. And so that is what I'm proud of, in a sense, where okay, what is the reputation that you have now beyond the reputation of my name? So
yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with both. I apologize for not being on earlier, because I would have pushed back, because God is my father, and if He's good enough to be a father, then I'm okay with being a father. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but I think going what he was saying there, just seeing them come into their own, seeing them become their own men. You know what I mean? Growing, being more responsible. How they, like he's saying, how they interact with others. You know, that type of thing. For me as a father, just seeing them become responsible, to be able to at one point be able to say, "Hey, look, I got this," and not only do I have me, but Dad, I got you. I got Mom. That's, you know, hey, when as I see them growing into the young men that I knew they could be, that's rewarding. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So, just before we close out, and look at France.
I can't say anything because they gave my answers already.
You're not a father. So
yeah, that's why I didn't say anything. I don't have any kids.
I'm a godfather. I'm a mentor. I'm a teacher. And at the end of the day, it's really
that is not what I asked for.
That's my favorite thing. My favorite thing is seeing the fruit.
See what I'm talking
the
about?
Fruit.
Yeah.
You know, all of that work, you put in all of that effort in that time, but to actually see the fruit, to walk into a Publix and see my students and say, "Hey, Mr. Boyce, I did it." That to me is amazing. Seeing my god kids, you you graduated. One of my godson is going to medical school.
Come on.
I'm like, man, I remember when you were just a little seed, and now here you are. To me, yes, I'm not a actual father, but to see that, I think that's what every father, when my father looks at me, I can tell that's what he likes. That, you know what, boy, you did it. I'm proud of you. You know, you're doing your thing, and that to me is what the gentleman shared. That's why, Lisa, come on, man.
It's all right. PIMP, you good, brother. You good.
So, Derrick, tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how folks can follow you. I know you have the wonderful Rubik's Cube ministry.
So, actually, I'm actually wearing the shirt. Life is like a Rubik's Cube. I actually just got back from Seattle. I hosted a 2-day conference in Seattle, Washington, for Bellevue College. And I teach people how to solve the twists and turns of life by solving the twists and turns of Rubik's Cubes. I build confidence by teaching young people how to solve Rubik's Cubes. And now I've been blessed and fortunate and highly favored that I've been traveling around the country to host Life is like a Rubik's Cube mastermind sessions and keynote speeches. And you can find me at lifeislikearubikscube.com and on social media, Life is like a Rubik's Cube.
Watch the YouTube video. It's great.
It is wonderful. It is. I agree.
Thank y'all for that endorsement.
Arana, outside of the wonderful work you do at the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, you're still doing word arts?
Worship word art, yeah.
Worship word art.
Okay, so yeah, you can see my set designs because I do the set designs here at FAMU, and so whenever you come see a play, that tends to be one of the pieces of work that I do. So this in a couple of months in July we have the ice camp, and so that design, you can check that out. And yeah, every now and then I will do what's considered prophetic painting. So it's basically taking God's word. Here's how I would describe it. There was a scene in the Bible where somebody had a vision, and that vision and it was a prophetic vision. Imagine instead of talking about it, somebody was able to paint it. That's what I do.
Nice. And how can we follow you?
You can't. You have to know who I am. I'm not on social, so you just have to hit me up. Talk to somebody who knows somebody.
Hey, listen, you got to talk to somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah. Well, I hit him up as often as I can because he does stuff for
That's right. Yeah. Stuff for your church. Exactly.
Yeah.
So hit up Lisa and then I work on referrals.
This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Dr. Derrick Standifer. Thank you so much, Ruben Arana. I remember when you got to FAMU in your class, it was quite interesting.
You did well. You did all right.
Hey,
she said, I got an A. What you mean? All right. I think I was his worst student because I was like, look, I can't. You got to help something else. What? How you do that?
It can be challenging.
It was, but you know what? It was rewarding. So, shout out to you. Listen, I got all three guys here tonight. Look at that. Okay, I love it. Thank you.
I got to show up for the fathers.
Oh, that's what it is. So what? Y'all just didn't need me tonight? What is that?
No, I didn't say that. We
no,
did not
say saying that.
I didn't say a word. You see what I'm saying? That's that programming you got.
Listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you will not miss another show. If you are watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Again, make sure you turn on those notifications so you will not miss another show. This has been Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cool.
That is what they do. Thank you to our special guest so very much for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for being in the kitchen on tonight. And we will actually see you guys next week, 9:00 in this same space for another great conversation. So thank you. And as always, it has been a pleasure. And good night.
Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk.